Hey everybody, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty, giving you my weekly comic book review. So sit back and enjoy.
News about comic books, musical instruments, tech reviews, and video games with your host, Captain Frugal.
Welcome back, comic book fans, and welcome back to the channel. Every week, a flood of comics hits the shelves, and it can be tough to decide what to pick up. But don't worry, that's what I'm here for. We're about to dive in to this week's releases to crown one book the comic of the week. Will it be an epic superhero showdown, a mind-bending indie darling, or maybe a hilarious new series that everyone has been talking about? I've read a stack of them, and I've got some strong opinions. So stick around to the very end to see which comic earned the top spot and why you absolutely need to add it to your collection. Feel free to drop your own picks in the comments below. I'd love to see what you're reading. So, let's get into it. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more comic book reviews every week. Hey everybody, welcome back to the weekly comic book review where we are entering the virtual comic shop to have a comic book discussion where we can agree or disagree. I haven't had any issues lately, but as a reminder, if you're going to come in and disagree, you don't come in by calling people names right away and making insinuations. Instead, bring up your discussion, your talking points. Let's have a civil conversation. Because to be honest, you wouldn't do that in a comic shop. You wouldn't come up to a person and just go, "You're a racist," or "You're a bigot," or "You're just an idiot." No, you'd have a conversation. So let's try to keep it that way, shall we? I got my trusty notes. And I want to say thank you to everybody that's been supporting the channel. You are amazing. Thank you. This channel would not be possible without you. As well as that support could be as much as clicking like, subscribing to the channel, whatever it is, watching the videos. They do, some don't do good and some do really good, and I love that discussion we have. That's the main thing. I want to build that community. So the first one I want to talk about is DCKO, which is Knockout Superman versus Captain Atom #1. This is a one shot, but I thought, Superman, Captain Atom, cool, right? If you remember the Justice League cartoons, they had a one, I believe, or maybe it was a movie. One of the animated movie spin-offs, they had a fight. I can't remember which. It was really good, so I thought I'd check out this comic book. Anyway, this book has 1,071 reviews with a 4.0 score, very positive, so it seems a lot of people checked this book out besides me. Now, I gave the book a 7.2. It's not as high as they did, but I do tend to grade harder. The writer is Joshua Williamson, artist is Sean Izaki. Something to that regard. I thought this was an entertaining issue, but predictable. It seems like Superman's going to win going into it. The art is decent, and there's decent action. I would have liked a little more punches in the face. There's some alternate covers. There's a Captain Atom cover that's really good one in my opinion here. But let's get some other people here. This person gave it a 5 star, says, "This was awesome. I don't realize just how perfect of a matchup Superman and Captain Atom would be outside of powerhouses." Yeah, they really liked it. But let me go here. Let's find one that runs a little counter to what the rest of us are saying. And this one's a 2.5 star. It says, "Your little stunt somehow combined their powers. Somehow. The premise of the event is to drive characters governed by morality towards Darkseid's energy through mercilessness. Captain Atom understood the assignment. When in round 3, he pulls out all the stops in order to win, is so merciless that he unmakes reality at the risk of unmaking himself in order to win." That's a good point. And so there we go. So we got a lot of people giving this one really good one. Well, I want to know what your thoughts are on the art on this. I don't know. The art style just didn't really do it for me, but I would like to see your thoughts on that as well. Just so you know, too, I'm going to give you my top 2 books at the very end, because here's the thing. Usually I like to save the best for last. I have 2 that were a tie. Yeah, 2 were a tie, so I didn't have a top book. The next book I want to talk about is Batman issue number 4. 1,647 ratings with a 4.1 score. Very positive, and I gave the book a 7.4. The writer is Matt Fraction, artist and letterer is George Jimenez. I know some people love his art. I'm a little mixed on it, but it is what it is. In this issue, we have the Taurus is making a big play for control of the Gotham crime cartel. But I guess his name is actually the Minotaur, but I don't know why they call him Taurus at one point, but who knows. This is a good starting point for new readers. If you haven't been reading this and you thought maybe I should get this Batman, but I didn't read the previous ones, this would be a good jumping on point. There's decent art in this issue, and it's a decent storyline as well. And if you like the Batman crime and all that stuff, you know, on the streets with these groups, this would probably be good. The one thing I don't know if I like a whole lot or not is it seems like they always introduce these new characters like they've always been there and they're all powerful. I don't really mind here, but it is interesting to see. And we see Anarchy get his butt kicked because, well, he's not really that tough of a character, is he? Do you like Anarchy? I'm looking through the community reviews and I see a lot of 5 stars, but I did see some lower ones. Here is a 3.5. I'm going to read just a little bit of it. Is it just me, or is this issue felt shorter than the last ones? Okay, now we start with the real review. I actually like how Fraction is building up Zeller's personality. Even if some of her interactions with Bruce in the first few pages were a little corny. I'm not gonna lie. The whole talk to Dr. Batman thing and then her not knowing it was Bruce. Yeah, by the way, that happened there. I'm going to stop there. Yeah, Bruce is talking to her and she doesn't realize it's Bruce. And so she's going on being a little complainy, also being pompous, and then realizes, oh, I'm talking to Bruce Wayne. And then Bruce Wayne asks her out. So it's a little different there. Now I'm going to jump to one that gives it a much lower score, 2.5 score here. It says, so my gut reaction is this Batman is Matt Fraction and is David Simon circa The Wire season 5 era. That means nothing to me. I never seen The Wire, so you'll have to let me know how that works. The whole socially conscious Batman thing has basically been the only darn game in town. Okay, and they're complaining on that. I'm going to skip over that. On the other hand, I generally do like his Bruce Wayne. He's generally affable, sorry, couldn't read, right up to literally sweeping women off their feet, which I feel like gets missed. You know, I think that's a point. That's a nice thing to put some more time in of how, how Bruce is as a person and how he attracts certain people too. On that note, I love new villains. Can't get enough of them, and unlike the last few times George Jimenez designed new villains for a new Batman run, the Minotaur actually looks like a Batman villain instead of an MGS fan mod character. Okay, what do they mean by MGS? I'm old man here, I don't know. So in other words, this person thought it was a mixed bag, but overall not bad, so that's pretty good there. And the next book I want to jump to, well, I think it's the end, and that is The Birds of Prey, issue 28. It did have 183 ratings with a 3.8 score, mostly positive, but I gave the book a 7. I must not agree there. The writer is Kelly Thompson, penciler is Sammy Becerra. First of all, I look at the cover, and this cover does not attract a reader at all, in my opinion. Yeah, a bunch of ladies sitting, eating ice cream. I'm sorry, how does that attract any attention to your book? And I think that's part of the problem. There's nothing to really gravitate to here. It says, don't miss the final issue. One last mission. You can miss it. One final fight. No do-overs, no second chances. And the fate of the birds hangs in the balance. The unreality is collapsing, which I was not a fan of this whole unreality story to begin with. And threatening all the Gotham as it splits into our real world in a dangerous and unexpected ways. As the birds of prey struggle to survive inside the game, the final showdown, the final countdown, will test everything the team has built. Can the birds get to the heart of what the Shadow Army's real goal's been all along before it's too late for them and for Gotham? Here's the thing, that, as I said, that cover's freaking horrible. I'm sorry. Who's gonna look at that and grab that off the shelf? This is a lackluster story ending as well. This is a final issue. It's wrapping up the team, and it tried a little bit, but it was very rushed at the last page. It was really, in my opinion, very disappointing. But I'm looking at the reviews and I'm seeing 5-star, 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 and finally I see a 4-star. So let's see what that one. Kelly Thompson's Birds of Prey may not be as excellent or unique as her absolute Wonder Woman, yet it remains a consistently strong series that has sustained its quality over time. For me, this is the finest Birds of Prey run in the past 17 years. I'd have to go back and look at what runs we've had over 17 years, because I can tell you a lot of better runs, but maybe they weren't, maybe they were over 17 years ago though. Here's a 3-star. It is sad that this feels like a desperate ending instead of wrapping up the story. This is not the first time the Birds of Prey must be disbanded because someone is messing with the Oracle system, but I actually feel that the team seems to not having a clear direction moving forward. I agree with that. However, since it's confirmed that Babs will get a solo, it's time to explore a character more. Oh, I didn't know that. So Babs is getting a solo. Okay. I'm going to continue down here and read a little bit more of another one here. Here's a 3-star. A somewhat lackluster ending from a writer that I usually have a lot of praise for. I don't usually have a lot of praise for this writer, and I agree that it's a lackluster ending. The series started off so strong, and I hold a lot of love for this book, as it was one of the series that got me back into modern DC books. Wow, this book got you back into modern DC. Get some different DC books. There is a lot of better ones right now. DC has a lot of great books. So see, this isn't me just yelling at clouds, but I'm saying, hey, check out some different stuff here. So overall, it's usually I see 3 stars so far as the lowest one I see. So I can't say too much negative about it. So let's jump to the next book. If you haven't noticed, I haven't read a lot of Marvel this particular time. There wasn't a lot of Marvel out there that really jumped out to me. The next book I want to talk about is JSA number 14, and I have a mixed view on this. This has 207 ratings with a 4.0 score, and I gave the book a 7.4. Writers Jeff Lemire, artist Gavin Guidry. And the cover is just meh. It's all right. As the Atom investigates, the 5th columnist, can't speak all of a sudden, a new hero makes an appearance. Meanwhile, Alan Scott gets some help on a case from Detective Jim Corrigan. Yeah. There's this particular situation in this book, and this happens in comics. I get it. They try to tie real world things and make stories of them so it connects with people. But sometimes I think the writer puts a little too much politics and goes a little too on the nose. In this one, I think the writer is overly simplistic in their views on Nazis, because, Nazis are bad, don't get me wrong there, but you know why they're doing this. They're trying to mix it with Trump and not letting illegal immigrants stay here. There's definitely that, and that's a personal opinion, and I think they're missing the mark. I think most people are fine with immigrants. They're not fine with people coming in illegally, taking on the resources, but I could be wrong there. And I think this book just is hitting it too on the nose, a little too political. And I think the writer's trying to not be overly political. He's known for supposedly saying he doesn't want to, but I think he missed the mark. Though with that said, I do think it's a decent story. I'm looking at the reviews here under the community, and there's people here that says, I love Corrigan Spectre, so there's some good for that. Here's a 4.5 star, The Golden Age JSA, my beloved. I really love this. I desperately need Lemire Guidry to do an ongoing Golden Age JSA series. This has been amazing. I'm looking for something lower because I'm seeing a lot of great reviews. Okay, here we go. 2.5. Well, I like the art. It's also the kind of art I would expect from a weekly series. It's fine, but rather basic stuff in my opinion. The different plots are moving forward, but there is little excitement here. Little to no action. The dialogue barely serves its purpose. I don't feel any real emotions when reading this. It just kind of exists. That's an interesting take on it. Let's see here. Oh, here's another 3-star. I don't know. This just isn't grabbing me in any way. But let's find one that's going controversial to that with a 5-star review. This is so good that it's making me want this status quo around for longer than we're going to get it here. So there are a lot of people really loving this book, where some, not so much. All right, people. This is where it gets interesting. As I said, there's 2 books tied for the #1 spot. So let's talk about the first one, and that's G.I. Joe number 15. G.I. Joe's been hitting the top a lot for me. We got a continuation of the Dreadnought War here, part 3 of 5. 201 ratings, 4.4 score, very positive, and I gave the book an 8. Yeah, 8's my high score. So there was no real bad comic books, in my opinion, this week. Anyway, the writer's Joshua Williamson, artist is Tom Riley. Who will survive the Dreadnought War? Duke and Cobra Commander are confronted by an enemy they never expected, but the Dreadnoughts aren't far behind. Yes, they are captured. This is another great G.I. Joe issue, I have to say. Cobra Commander and Duke are captured, and it's somewhat, I don't know, when I'm reading it, it seems like a story out of a horror book. It really does, or a horror movie. Just the way it is, they're hung up and things are not looking good for them. There's really some interesting characters, some nice spin on the Dreadnoughts characters here. I mean, the only thing I can really say is go Joe. I really liked it. And I'm looking at the community reviews and I'm seeing 4, 4.5, 5-star reviews. I'm trying to look for something, and that's it. I can't find anything there that's actually saying, hey, this book wasn't good. So I honestly, and I've been saying this, I'm probably going to sound like a broken record, but even if you are not a G.I. Joe fan, you might want to check this out. Okay. So anyway, let me read a little part here because I like to give a little bit of other people's opinions here. So I'm spent 3 to 4 hours a night reading this week's issues. Okay, that's sort of a weird way of writing that, but okay. And I'm so glad that this was the last one I read. It's incredibly cool. You know, I agree there because sometimes you read when it's really good and then you read when it's okay, and it's like going from steak to spam, right? It's a monstrosity, underrated series, in my opinion. I agree with you, Manberg Kanik, whatever your name is. I wish it got more attention. I loved it. The dialogue between Cobra and Duke, I think he meant Cobra Commander, is great, and the action is amazing. The teases at the end, wow. I can't wait for more. And you know what? That's how I feel about this series. It's just been impressive. No real major duds, and I've been enjoying it, and I'm telling you, check it out. Now, here's another one. The next one tied for #1 is Hulk Smash Everything #1 with 171 ratings, 3.7 score, mostly positive on Lego Comics Geeks, and I gave it an 8. Now, this is a mini series. Okay, it is written by Ryan North and artist is Vincenzo Carati. And here's where, and by the way, it has some really cool open order covers too that are available. But I think this is the Hulk fan that feels left out. This book is for them, I mean. What I mean that as you look for the last few years now, we've gotten the Green Door, the, you know, Unkillable Hulk, and now we got an Earthman, and it's fine. The last actual Hulk issue of the new Hulk series is very good. The art's good. It's very dark. It's interesting. So don't get me wrong there. Great. But when have we had a more classic Hulk? I mean, we've had Space Shuttle Hulk, right? And all this. And it's been a long time. And I think that's where this book fits in nicely. If you are more of a classical Hulk fan of Hulk Get Mad, Hulk Smash, this might be the book for you. Is Hulk really the strongest there is? Sure, he's stronger than most people, but is he really stronger than everything? Dinosaurs, planets, gravity. What I think we're going to get here is this miniseries is going to have him each issue fight something big and maybe bigger and bigger, you know, to show off his strength and brutality. He's taking on all comers in this new miniseries. Yeah, it's non-stop action. Classic Mighty Marvel style here too. And I think that's where it stands out. So if you're missing that old Hulk Smash, this is probably it for you. The art's good. It's a good opening story of his Hulk getting manipulated by the leader. So you got a classic Hulk villain as well. Is good pacing, good action. I think this might be a sleeper hit. More people need to check this one out. But let's check what the community reviews say. This one is 4.5 stars. This is dumb, fun, punch 'em up book is dumb fun and does indeed have lots of punching. Think about it. That's an interesting line. Dumb, fun, punch 'em up book is dumb, fun, and does indeed have lots of punching. Boy, well said. The art is solid, but it's kind of hard to make its details because of Marvel's absolutely atrocious paper quality and over-inking color of pages. Let's look at this other one here. The Hulk going on a rampage and chasing Doctor Strange is only the beginning as this story just continues to escalate into the most ridiculous way, but it's so much fun to follow. I agree. And it's a lot more lighthearted than the Infernal Hulk book. And that's why I said it's good for the people that wanted something different. Be honest, I'm scrolling down trying to find somebody that, oh, here we go. I found a 2-star review. I was hoping for something that was in the line with World War Hulk. Dumb punch 'em that actually had a solid story going on throughout the issues instead. Not for me. Now, I'm going to disagree with this person. There is a solid story with the leader's manipulation here and what's going on. So I don't know what they're getting at. I like this. I don't agree. I wasn't looking for a World War Hulk story. Maybe this is a newer reader that came in around that time, because there was a lot of Hulk before World War Hulk. And let's find another one. 3-star. Here we go. I thought this was a fun issue. It feels like the premise is pretty shallow so far, but it's surely action-packed. And that's the point. I don't think this is going to have a super in-depth, convoluted story. If you want that, read the current runs of the Hulk. Man, that story's a convoluted pile, right? Not bad, but convoluted. This is just fun, classic Hulk punch everything. And I think that's, the title. Hulk smash everything. What are you expecting to get? Here we have a 0.5-star review. Should have named it Hulk Trash. So boring and stupid. Art is okay, I guess. This was from a guy named Generic Ammo. That was a pretty crappy generic post. If you thought this was boring, I don't know what you were reading. All right, I just don't get it. This was far from boring. Lots of action. So, I don't know. I think it depends on what you're looking for. Are you looking for a Hulk that's beating up things, or a long story with lots of complexity? If you want a deep, long complexity story, this is probably not going to be it. This is going to have a story that's there to promote fighting. But that's it. That was what I read. I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Look, we just got through Thanksgiving, so I hope you had a lot to be thankful for. Find things to be thankful for. Help others as we're moving into Christmas season. Don't forget, this is a hard time for a lot of people, especially myself included. We've lost a lot of loved ones. Maybe even around this time, so it hurts a little bit more. For example, I lost my father-in-law on Christmas Eve morning, really early morning, and I was the last one to talk to him. I put him to bed and told him I'd see him later, and that was it. And some people will struggle with things. I look at all the great times, so try to find ways to get together, be together, and appreciate each other, and also steer clear of those people that's there. Well, I can't invite this family member. I have this family member because we don't agree on something politically. I got a newsflash for you. We're all people. We have limited time on this earth, and let's get that time with our loved ones and get over those issues, no matter how big they might seem. To realize, because when the time's gone, it's too late. Time is finite. You'll never get it back, and then you're going to have a lot of regret. So let's get past those things. Let's love on each other and help others. So if you see somebody in need, please give a hand. Thank you, everybody, for your time. Sorry for the soapbox, but it's just something I felt I had to get off my chest. Take care, everybody, and until next time, keep it frugal.